Can I play as the Hobgoblin?
Not yet.
Not yet, but maybe later.
I would think later, soon.
Can I play as Condiment King?
Not yet.
No, you won't be able to play as Condiment King.
Maybe Marvel will buy
Crossover?
DC. Who knows?
I could hope.
DC rivals.
Absolutely. Hello and welcome to the Infinity Bros podcast, the only podcast that's perfectly balanced as all things should be. Welcome, Infinity Bros universe, to 2025, our first episode of 2025. Wow. It's pretty exciting. Good stuff. And it's our first episode in like over a month, so we're excited to get back at it. It is I, Isaac Edlin, as your main host tonight, and I have two Infinity Bros with me. It's the DC crew. We got Robbie Sauter and Mark Jones. How you guys doing today?
Oh, we're great.
Doing great.
I'm great. Doing great. It's our first episode in over a year. It's crazy.
Crazy.
I'm very caught off guard that you didn't introduce us individually.
Yep, here's
Usually
the guys.
Robbie Sauter.
And here are the guys. And you're
here's one guy who has blown up and made our podcasts and TikToks like have millions of people. And then there's this guy who's also part of stuff. But these are the guys.
I should have had you introduce us.
You guys are carrying down the podcast. I'm just out here making silly little videos.
We got to get visual. Some of that, like drag some of that representation from your face to the podcast somehow. Maybe we should rebrand as the Infinity Bros, and it's just like your face, like, and that's it. Like that's
the
our
Infinity
logo.
Bruh.
I just imagine animation like as Robbie said,
Robbie
like, we're doing
Infinity
stuff.
Bros.
Isaac and I are like carrying like a little bit of like stuff, and then here's Robbie with like tens of thousands of pounds on his back, like they help too. They're great people.
If we're really gonna do this, I need to like rebrand as Thanos and have a gauntlet with like your guys' faces on them.
Oh yeah, or the stones, or like we're holding up your throne and you're like sitting on the throne.
I don't like that. That makes me feel weird. I rather use you at my disposal rather than you guys hold
that's
me
better.
in your hand.
Yeah.
Mark gets to be.
Which finger do I get to be? Oh,
Here's a thumb.
Ooh,
not really a finger, but I'm there.
You know,
I'm important.
You make us better than animals.
Thank you.
Without you, we're almost
monkeys.
we're nothing. I can't text and make content without you.
2025 is off to a great start, guys. Yeah. Love this. If you want to check out the Infinity Bros to theinfinitybros.com, you can check out the show notes to get exclusive access to a little bit of pod behind the scenes where we talked about the MCU, where we're at with it. Chris Evans potentially coming back to the MCU, along with all of the other rumors that we've been hearing over the past month. So lots of fun stuff if you check out the Infinity Bros Patreon, which you can get access to for less than $2 a month.
Has our Patreon basically turned into the what if of the Infinity Bros?
Pretty much.
Is that what we call it? We should just call it the Infinity Bros what if.
We did it.
I feel like we got to rebrand it a little bit.
I think we should too. We should the Infinity Bros what if universe over there on the Patreon.
Check it out
over there.
It's fun stuff.
It could be about anything. We don't even know. We could talk about WNBA over there.
Literally, like that's hilarious because there's been times where it's been just, hey, what cards are you opening or packs?
Well, literally,
to like having
like
pretty much.
Didn't we have like a fatherly talk, like raising, like how I would raise kids?
Totally. We get like real deep on Patreon every once in a while. It's like, oh,
that's what I'm saying. I think we need to rebrand it as the Infinity Bros what if. I think it's good. It could be anything.
So if you want to dive deep into not just this face on the Infinity Bros TikTok or Instagram, if you want to get really down and dirty into who Robbie Sauter is, check out the Infinity Bros Patreon because you're going to learn some things about him. It might be good things.
I don't know what you're going to learn.
Might not. I don't know. Who knows?
I do have one lady. I showed Jessica this just for fun. I showed you guys also. I have one lady that asked me to marry her.
Can you confirm
she's a little outdated for me.
Was she a real person?
You know, on the internet, Don't really know.
Are you sure she's not like a fake account trying to emotionally trap you in DMs?
She did not DM me. If she would have DM'd me, I would have blocked her. But she just commented on a video that I was talking about giant squirrels on a Magic the Gathering card.
Did you have your shirt off?
It's literally like neck up. Wow. Can't say anything else.
What a tease you are.
Maybe she's the lucky one. She has no idea what she's getting herself into. Who knows? I did not publicly decline the option, but I did tell Jessica that I would not be pursuing the option. So
good call.
Yeah.
As I said before.
Yes.
Wild start to 2025.
That was the first, I had to bring it up. It was the first time that's ever happened.
I don't know how to transition out of this.
2 years of like fully making content. That's the first person that asked me to marry them. So
it took 2 years, huh?
Yeah, I mean, besides like Mark and Jarrett. But...
Well, yeah, right. Besides pretty much all of the Infinity Bros.
Yeah, except for some of our male friends out there that I'm not interested in.
Yet.
I'm becoming more open-minded.
All right.
On that note, well, I mentioned earlier on the podcast that I have the DC guys on. Robbie and Mark are big fans of DC comics, DC properties, and we've got some giant DC news that has come out in the past month. Actually, pretty much huge news. Pretty much immediately after the episode that I recorded with Megan from Vigilante Vibes, the Superman trailer dropped, which at this point is like 3-4 weeks ago now, December 19th, 2024.
I mean, we're within a month.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a huge deal because obviously Superman being rebooted is a big deal in and of itself. But this is kind of the new face of James Gunn's DCU. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. We'll discuss Creature Commandos, which the finale just premiered for today, which we're talking on January 9th, 2025. Talk a little bit about that as well. And then some other just random DC news that we've gotten over the past month. So a lot of stuff to dig into for you DC guys. What do you guys think about it? No response. You guys don't have any.
Oh, that was a question.
Yeah,
I said, what do you guys think about it? Yeah, no, nothing. Okay.
Like, he asked me, like,
I figured you were going to point us in the direction of where to think.
Yeah, like,
well,
are you asking?
I'm not the one that has thoughts about.
Like,
DC
are you saying like
things.
the Superman trailer or just DC in general?
There's lots of things to talk about. You need to point us in the direction, Mr. Host.
Okay, here we go. Are you guys excited about the amount of DC things that we've been getting over the past month?
I don't know. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm not.
I pointed you in a direction. I pointed you.
No,
I pointed you.
I guided you.
Here's my feelings and everything. I'm so happy we're gonna get more of an expanded universe in DC, and James Gunn's the helm of all of it, or co-helm. I just wish this happened like 5 years ago.
6 years ago?
8 years ago? Yeah.
10 years ago?
Maybe. So then it's like, when I had a lot more free time to be fully invested. For now, it's like, I wonder, will I be able to see Superman opening weekend? Or, having 2 kids and married, is that going to derail me to seeing it opening weekend? So, but yes, I'm still hyped. I'm all in DC stuff. I've seen a lot of people give the Superman trailer flack for being campy or like the characters looking weird, where it's like we're finally getting comic book accurate portrayals of these superheroes, and people are now mad. So it's like literally, like, I could have told you this 6 years ago. It's like no matter which way you do it, someone's gonna be mad or upset how a character looks.
Right. Coming off of the Snyderverse, which kind of fritzed out after the Justice League.
It was a thing.
Extended.
It was an experience.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, like, we got Man of Steel, which granted is not a bad movie, and you guys are big fans of Man of Steel.
And Man of Steel is rotten on Rotten Tomatoes, so
yeah, it's got a 56.
It is. That's one of those movies where it's like, oh, that's interesting that is so low. And
it's one that will never make sense.
I'm not a huge fan of Man of Steel. Like, it's not a bad movie, but it's not like my favorite movie of all the Well, in the Snyderverse, it probably is up there in those movies because they're not great. But
here's how much I love it. I loved it so much when it came out that I brought my dad to watch it in movie theater because I was like, this is a movie my dad needs to watch. That's how much I enjoyed it.
Wow.
So
how many movies in your life have you brought your dad to?
3. So, and that was the last one. So there it is.
There you go. Mm-hmm. So it was a big deal to you.
It was.
So you guys are big fans of that.
I'm not like oh my gosh, James Gunn sucks because he didn't cast Henry Cavill as Superman. I was like, he's going in a different direction with a different type of character that he wants to go with. So it's like, yeah, you got to just trust the process. You got to roll the boat.
Besides the casting of Henry Cavill, which I mean he absolutely nailed. Like Henry Cavill is incredible as Clark Kent / Superman.
Right.
Man of Steel, I mean, obviously it's a different take on Superman. You read some comics and stuff like that, and you're like, okay, this is a little bit darker of a Superman than you typically see, which was, to be fair, was Zack Snyder's whole universe was like darker than the average, DC comic or whatever.
There's a dark tint.
A little bit of a dark tint. But we see in this trailer that there's a lot of really classic like comic callbacks, and it just feels a little bit more lighter. Like the tagline is "Look up." Like, there's just hope kind of ringing
Inspires
from that.
Hope,
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, let's just go ahead and dive into it. I mean, this has been out for almost a month already, so spoilers if you haven't seen it yet, but you can look it up on YouTube or whatever and watch it in a couple minutes. Yeah, so the first scene we get is Superman falling into the snow after being beat up, and Crypto comes up. We get Crypto in this movie, and it's, I don't know, I guess not your typical Crypto. Crypto in the comics is like this greyhound looking kind of dog, like very sleek, like short haired. There's probably visuals. There's probably different ones. That's the one.
There's, I mean, it's up there.
Yeah, so you get kind of like the shaggy.
It's not a huge deal.
No. You get kind of like the shaggy dog look from it, but he's very cute. He's very lovable, and he drags Superman out of jam. So, what do you guys think of this opening scene of Superman being in trouble right away? It's the first thing we see.
Does the dog not being cast as a corgi hurt you guys at all, or were you kind of hoping for a corgi?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Chihuahua.
Wasn't hoping.
But,
nope.
I mean, like,
wasn't expecting a corgi.
All right. Just a little tongue cheek there.
Sorry, bud.
I like the visual we get of this. Is like we're coming into, I'm assuming, an existing Superman. Like, we're not getting an origin story. So this must be like, is Superman going up against a foe that hasn't made him bleed before? So this is the new experience for Superman.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because James Gunn has said that this is not going to be an origin story. Like, this is an established Superman. There's obviously other characters in,
and potentially Justice League exists already.
Trailer. Well, I don't know. Well, it would be a Justice Society,
sure, something like that.
I believe, right? Yeah, some sort of organization might already exist. That I don't know if Superman's included in that yet, because from what we saw in the trailer, it doesn't look like he's part of it. It looks like they know who he is, but it doesn't look like a group effort, at least from what I saw. But who knows? So maybe our boy, I don't know how are we just jumping into the trailer?
Yeah, go for it.
Maybe our boy Guy Gardner caused some damage to Superman.
Maybe. Or Mr. Terrific.
Or Mr. Terrific.
Hawkwoman.
Because that would be interesting, because if they view, let's say, Lex Luthor's whole plan, and he's portrayed by the wonderful, oh gosh, what's his name? I love the actor. Nicholas Hoult.
He's so
the
good.
New Lex Luthor was perfect. What if the whole storyline is that the Justice Society is kind of being played by Luthor to fear Superman, or fear what this kid might be?
Stop making the movie already better than what it probably is going to be.
We're going into the weeds.
That is
that's our job, is going to the weeds, right?
It is.
Did you get Mark's permission to go into the weeds?
Because a character like Guy Gardner would be, easy to.
And he's the Green Lantern we're supposed to hate, because he's not a likable guy.
Right.
And he doesn't have a likable haircut either, which I love.
Or jawline.
Bowl cut.
They went with the bowl cut, which I am so happy that they made him comic accurate.
Comic accurate, but it looks ridiculous. It does look ridiculous, and
I love every second.
If that takes some people out of it, well,
I think I've heard like definitely a lot of pushback, but a lot of it is that Nathan Fillion has been like kind of a fan cast for Hal Jordan Green Lantern for a long time. So
he's just so old.
He is old now.
Like
yeah,
56.
That's true.
Just people digging grave while we're at it.
But we need a young guy if we're gonna have a universe. Like, yeah, it does suck. Like Nathan Fillion would have been perfect years and years ago, but he's too old now to be that guy.
And
unfortunately,
we haven't officially gotten to Hal Jordan casting for the Lantern show that Nathan Fillion's Guy Gardner is potentially going to be appearing in. So coming down the road, and I believe they've already casted Jon Stewart too, which I think is in that picture that we're going to show and talk about a little bit later on the podcast. But yeah, we have those three Justice Society, Justice League members show up. Eddie Gethegi as Mr. Terrific, who appears as, I believe his name is Darwin in the X-Men First Class movie. And he is in For All Mankind, which is a show that we've talked about quite a bit on the podcast. Great actor. He's really great. He's going to be Mr. Terrific. Isabella Merced is playing Hawkgirl. And then Nathan Fillion, obviously, as Guy Gardner that we've talked about. So we get some flashes of those guys being in it. Mr. Terrific is kind of an interesting character that is coming to the screen. And I believe we actually did get a portrayal of him in like the Green Arrow,
Hold up.
Universe.
I gotta come back to the Hal Jordan stuff. They cast Hal Jordan.
Okay. Did they?
Yeah, it's Kyle Chandler. Wasn't this a little bit ago?
Kyle Chandler.
And then Aaron Pierre
Chandler Bing
is supposed to be Jon Stewart.
Hal Chandler's old though.
Yeah,
it's gonna be Hal Jordan.
And Nathan Fillion's younger than Kyle Chandler. So.
Oh wow,
well, that's what I'm saying.
I'm sorry, I was out of it because I was like, wait, I think they already did cast all these people because they're making a TV show, right? So.
Yeah, the TV show Lanterns is scheduled to be 2020.
So then what this tells me is that this universe is going to go full on with John Stewart as the main Lantern,
which they should, because that's our generation's Green Lantern,
right?
Which they should. Kyle Chandler is I really like Kyle Chandler. I just wouldn't have. I'm very surprised that he's going to be our Hal Jordan.
You're right. There you go. Live action fact checking on the podcast.
Well, I had to because I was like, I'm pretty sure they cast all these guys.
It was already a long time ago. I already forgot about it. That's why
I had no clue. I didn't even.
And then Aaron Pierre is playing in Jon Stewart. So yeah, it's just
I'm all in.
It's gonna be great.
And David Cornsweet as our Superman.
David Cornsweet as Superman. So let's get back to the Superman trailer here. We got David Cornsweet and then Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane. So and I've never watched anything that she's in, so I have no idea how she
doesn't matter. She looks like she looks
the
like
part.
How I picture Lois Lane.
Yeah, she looks the part. So man, just the aesthetic of this trailer, it reminds me of like the old like Adventures of Superman, kind of like very tall, like gothic style. It's kind of like that was the when Batman and Superman had the crossover like episodes and stuff like that in the 90s. It's just like that's what it reminds me of. It's like, oh, this looks so classic. And instead of like the Man of Steel, we just got like the modern city look, which it fit Zack Snyder's universe and what he was trying to do. But like this looks so much more comic booky that I'm just like already excited about it.
And I feel like this is the vibe I got when we saw the scenes in the Daily Planet. It very much felt like the original Superman movie. Like it was a little bit of homage to that and like that kind of vibe. So I think that's what we're gonna get is James Gunn is probably gonna be true to do his best being true to the characters from the comic books, like making them as accurate as he can while telling a modern story, and then having homages to what came before in cinema. So be interesting.
I will say, and maybe this will put me on an island. The one thing after rewatching that Superman trailer multiple times, the thing that took me out of it is David Cornsweet.
Interesting.
First, it's something about his like eyes that just takes me out of it. There's like a scene early on in the trailer where he's like talking to his dad and he has his like arm on his shoulder and he's like staring at him and it looks like he's gonna burn his head off. It doesn't look like a concerned, caring like gaze. It looks like he's going to like, I'm gonna burn a hole in your head. Like he's gonna go Homelander on his own father, it looks like. And I don't know what it is, and maybe that's just how the trailer portrayed him, but I like he's the one thing that just didn't hit right for me. And I'm a big Henry Cavill homer, so like maybe I just need to get over that. But that was the one thing in the trailer that I think when I first watched it the first time, I was like, I don't know about this. And then I watched it on like a better quality screen and everything. I was like, I mean, the trailer's good, but it's I think it's Clark Kent. I think it's our Superman. So
yeah,
that's where I don't know. And that's a big role. That's a tough job. Like I don't know. That's the one thing. So like I'll have to wait for the movie to reserve any actual judgment. This is just coming off the trailer, but I hope he makes me a believer.
Yeah, there is a little bit of contrast because like Henry Cavill was like massive, made himself just ginormous for the role, so much that he was like breaking costumes that in The Witcher and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
David Corenswet doesn't look huge.
See, it's not about the size. I don't care about the size.
Okay.
Like that doesn't bother me because it's just his face. It's his face. It's how he looks. It's just he does. It's not like I described. Like it's nothing to do with his size. I could care less because freaking the first Superman was not built. Oh, I shouldn't be blinking on his name.
Christopher Reeve,
the original Superman. Christopher Reeve. Yeah. Like Christopher Reeve was a big guy, but he wasn't like actors are now, where they're just jacked.
Yeah, that was a different time though. Like I mean,
I know it was. But that's what I'm saying. Like, but he was great.
Well, and those versions of Superman in the comic books weren't jacked either.
True,
for sure. But that's what I'm saying. I don't care about the size. That's why I'm like Isaac went all on the size. I don't care how he looks physically,
except for his face.
His
apparently,
yeah, his face that makes the character. So that's something that just didn't hit for me because Christopher Reeve did such a good job transitioning from Clark Kent to Superman.
True. Yeah.
I just saw the same person when I was watching.
Well, it's the same person. You just add glasses and a suit.
I know it's the same person, but
Robbie, did you know that Clark Kent was actually Superman?
And watch Christopher Reeve like acting as Clark Kent and then acting as Superman. Like it's a complete change. He did a really good job of that. I just didn't. In this one small sample size trailer, I didn't get it from Mr. David Corenswet, but hopefully he changed my mind.
And like you say, it's a teaser trailer. Like we're going to probably get another, probably 2 at least full trailers
you guys
in the future.
Buckle up on a little trivia right here, or a little tidbit.
All right, let's hear it.
Christopher Reeve, 6'4".
Mark fact.
Dave Corenswet,
huge.
6'4".
Okay.
Brandon Roth,
6'4". Really?
Brandon Roth, the other Superman, 6'2". Henry Cavill, 6'1".
Yeah,
Henry Cavill's the smallest out of all the Supermen.
But also probably why he looked as jacked as he did, because he was he was so huge. Sure. He was shorter.
But there you go.
That doesn't actually surprise me. I knew Christopher Reeve was taller.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
There it is.
Bring it back to the heights of everybody.
We don't want to. We don't need to talk about Brandon Routh. Yeah.
But see, with that Superman with Brandon Routh, it was supposed to be like a Superman 3 from the original series, so they wanted to go with someone who looked just like Christopher Reeve, or as close as they could get. So.
Yeah, it was as close as they could get, and it was not. It's not.
I mean, like I think there were some Superman Returns or whatever the Brandon Routh one was, like that one was boring. I fell asleep during that one.
And that's a product of post 9/11 production for action movies, where there was like the whole concept was like, well, we're gonna have no fighting with Superman, and that's what made it boring and stupid. So.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
But Brandon Routh, I didn't mind. Like him himself, like when we got him back in the Infinite Crisis storylines, in the CW verse, that was fun. I liked him, and he had a great costume too.
Yeah, he's fun.
Well, he did the Kingdom Come, I think, costume he had for that.
Yeah,
show,
had like the black.
Oh yeah,
black
right.
S. Yeah, that was sweet looking.
Yeah.
So speaking of the costume, what do you guys think of the David Corenswet's Superman costume? Got the classic like yellow S in there. We got shorts, which the internet is crazy about.
Yeah.
Yep.
Why can't we have regular underpants that V up? Why can't I want to see it? I want to see it in its glory. I don't want boxing shorts on. What is this?
Just give it time. Give it time.
That is it. Like that's what
how
I get
clothes
from
go.
online.
They just get smaller and smaller as they go. So we might get that in the future. Just wait.
Do you think he explains why he has shorts? Like that is the one
part of the costume.
What was that?
Just part of the outfit.
Maybe when he gets his Justice League costume, it's more of the V, like just the underpants.
You know what? Maybe. Thinking of who James Gunn is, I think we're gonna get a lot of costumes. It's gonna be we're gonna get our share of costumes.
He's ready to make
years.
toys for Hasbro. That is what he's doing.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
But and then we also get the long like draped cape, and there's a few set photos that it looks just fantastic in. So what do you guys think of the costume, and was it sufficient for your comic book needs?
I'll give it a 5.5 out of 6. I don't think it's perfect, but I do like the color scheme they went with it. We're going away from like those darker tones from Snyderverse, going to more of going with the brighter blue, the more softer yellow, and then kind of like that, neutral red. Just a classic look with a modern design. I'm all in. Yeah. So
it is very much a Superman New 52 style, which I personally love. So I give it a 6. I'm all in on the Superman garb. Looks great to me.
I think it looks great too. And then later in the trailer, we get Lex Luthor. Robbie mentioned that Nicholas Hoult is playing Lex Luthor in it. They're not going with the crazy Jesse Eisenberg with the long hair in the first movie. That he is bald in the trailer. He looks very villainy and terrifying. And I think Nicholas Hoult,
James Bond villain.
Yeah, he really does.
He's like holding the gun.
Yeah, and he's like, they do this close-up shot of him and his face, and he's got like a cut on his eye and stuff. He looks super intense. I think Nicholas Holt's going to do a fantastic
Nicholas
job.
Hoult is a great actor. He's gonna kill it.
Yeah, so that'll be awesome. They just went straight to but like you also mentioned, and Mark mentioned, that this is not an origin story. So like there might already be beef with Lex and Superman by this point. And, like you said, maybe Lex is trying to manipulate the Justice Society or Justice League or whatever, and that's how they end up showing up. But Lex is going to be a force. He's going to be a menace in this movie. So that's going to be pretty awesome.
As he should be. He should be a likable menace in the public eye and a horrible menace in the darkness.
For the Snyderverse, they tried to make Lex Luthor into the Joker, and it was just like, why are we doing this, guys? Like,
basically,
Lex Luthor is
what happens if Mark Zuckerberg is an evil mastermind in the public eye?
That's what it was, yeah.
Right. Disappointing.
I actually liked Jesse Eisenberg's portrayal, but yeah, I could see why people hated it. I was very forgiving of a lot of things in the DC.
You generally are, which is why you were like, we were all shocked when you were like,
because he doesn't want to hype it up and be disappointed and have to fight everyone again.
That is a very good point. I'm very scared of being let down again.
Yeah,
like you guys have had your some of the other podcasts have had their day with their MCU.
How fire do you think this album for this Superman will be? James Gunn's gonna be like, here's all your music that you all love.
I think it's gonna be like classics, and it's gonna be like classics and Creed.
Classics and Creed.
Speaking of the music, though, this is the thing that got me the most hyped about this trailer, is that they used the classic John Williams Superman theme with like an electric guitar.
Yeah.
And that was like, if you didn't even show me any of the trailer, that song would get me hyped. Like,
they could have just done like that song
cool.
And then just him flying into the air.
Yeah, that's just all they needed to do.
15 seconds.
Or just showed us Crypto pulling him out of the dirt, out of the snow.
That was the best part about this trailer. And like, it's a teaser trailer. So like, yeah, it doesn't go on your top 10 of all time trailers or anything like that, but the music was amazing. And I cannot wait to hear more of that.
Consider me teased.
My favorite part is still the Nathan Fillion, Guy Gardner, just little flip. I'm like, yes.
Yeah, you just see him like give a little.
And I like going into the weeds again with Robbie's idea where maybe we already have like a Justice Society, and Lex Luthor, the wrestler, Lex Luthor is
and now
in some way like infiltrated them, or like befriended them in a sense, or like is paying them to like capture Superman, and or like he's doing his little like, here's why you should not like Superman, and then he kind of forces Superman to look bad in the public eye, and then he has to go after. They have to go after him to arrest him, because isn't there a scene in the trailer where he's arrested or in court? So it's like,
well, yeah,
he's like walking towards something.
It's Rick Flag. Rick Flag has him.
Oh, okay.
Or, no, it's not Rick Flag. It's gosh, it was right here.
Yeah, it's Rick Flag Senior.
Is
it's
it Rick Flag?
Grillo.
Rick Flag Senior,
Grillo's playing Rick Flag Senior.
Yeah, so they have him. So that's very similar to that's similar to Zack Snyder's, where they capture him and they are going to talk to him or whatever. So
I'm sure. I have a feeling now, after you said what you said about Lex Luthor, that it seems like it might be something he did to trick the public eye to not like Superman.
Sure.
Is now the rabbit hole I'll be going down. So thanks a lot, Robbie.
You're welcome.
Lots of fun things about that trailer. Superman is currently set for release on July 11th, 2025, which is going to be a wild month because I believe Fantastic Four also comes out that month. It's going to be some crazy
stuff. Really?
I thought it was May, Fantastic Four.
I'm pretty
and we don't have a trailer?
We don't have
anything?
It comes out in July.
Wow.
We have that little teaser from the Comic-Con.
And also the next Jurassic World movie comes out that month.
July 25th. There it is. Mm-hmm. What comes out in May? What's the other movie? Oh, that's Thunderbolts.
That's Thunderbolts, yeah. Thunderbolts comes out in May. So lots of fun stuff to look forward to. So in the Infinity Bros podcast, we rate things on a scale of 6.
Here on the Infinity Bros podcast, everything is ranked from a 0 to 6 point scale. 0 meaning horrible, and 6 meaning absolutely excellent. If all of the Infinity Bros rank something a 6, it gets an Infinity Step.
Guys, what is your rating of the Superman trailer?
I'm gonna go 6 out of 6. I loved it. There wasn't a part where I was like, that looks stupid. I was all in from the beginning, so let's be real.
I'll give it a solid 5. Enjoy it. I'm excited for it. Some things I still I'm guarding my heart. I'm gonna keep guarding my heart a little bit from DC so they can't hurt me again. So I'll give it a 5.
I don't know if they'll ever not be able to hurt you, but
we'll see.
How it goes. I also give it a 5. Just the music alone gave it at least a 5. I mean, trailer wise, I don't think there's anything super duper special about it, but that's a teaser. That's what teaser trailers are for, to just tantalize you a little bit, get you hyped up for the next trailer. I don't know. This is a movie that I might just skip the trailers for because I feel like it's going to be an epic one that I'm going to want to be fully.
And I think it's going to be full of characters. So it's like how many characters you want to be spoiled in the trailers versus just seeing it in the movie.
Yeah, so lots of, again, fun stuff to look forward to with Superman. Next up on our agenda for tonight is Nerd News.
Hey, Zane, I was looking into getting into this Gunpla thing. There's one called the Unicorn Banshee. What the heck is that all about? Actually, Jarrett, what you're thinking of is RX-0 Unicorn Gundam 2 Banshee, which is from the Mobile Suit Gundam. Actually, you know what? It's time for Nerd News.
Nerd News.
Nerd News. Little bits.
Oh, we did.
Really, I only have one more thing that I wanted to bring up. Well, actually 2 things, because one thing kind of leads into the next thing. James Gunn announced that they are going to be doing a Clayface movie. I don't know. This one is kind of interesting to me because obviously we have Matt Reeves, the Batman universe.
Like not a Batman movie, just Clayface?
Clayface movie. Like a movie for Clayface.
Is it going to be a horror-esque type of movie?
I don't know. So in his interview, he said that he would never have planned to do a Clayface movie, but the guy that wrote the script brought it to him and he was like, this is too good. Like, we need to make this movie. So whoever pitched it did a really good job. And now we're apparently getting a Clayface movie, which is interesting because we don't even really have anything announced or in the works for their actual DCU Batman.
Well, didn't they push back the Batman 2 to 2027?
That's what I'm leading into, Mark. You're getting ahead of things here. So Clayface obviously is a Batman villain. What do you guys think of him coming into the DCU? We'll leave the Batman out of it a little bit if you can, but like, what are your thoughts about this initially?
Clayface is one of my favorite villains from the Rogues Gallery for Batman. Batman the animated series made me a huge fan as a kid. So I'm all in. You really could go a few ways where if you really push hard the origin story of him being an actor and then becoming Clayface, or go right into him already being Clayface and make it like that. My thoughts, like, make it a horror movie off the bat to really showcase what Clayface can do. So that'd be kind of wild. It'd be really fun. They could cast anybody though too, because it's going to be a totally CGI character where it's like you could have.
Well, it's already Alan Tudyk or whatever.
Tudyk, yeah.
Tudyk is already cast as the voice.
He's already cast Clayface. There it is.
So he is Clayface in Creature Commandos, which
this is what I want to get into is Creature Commandos is DCU canon.
Technically, yes, it is.
So then, and Clayface is already in it. That's where I was like, wait, we're getting Clayface in an episode where he's like trying to kill people, but then we're gonna get a Clayface movie. Isaac, do you want me to read the actual tweet that
go for it.
Answered? So someone on X asked James Gunn a question. He said, James Gunn is Clayface officially the third DCU film. Why didn't you choose to do a more prominent character first like Flash or Wonder Woman? James Gunn, and I quote, said, because of the number one rule here at DC, no movie will be greenlit before the script is ready, and Flanagan's film script was ready. That's Clayface. And as for the Flash, we're holding a beat on development. So Flash was potentially going to be the next one, it sounds like, but Clayface is ready.
Clayface getting a movie before the Flash.
Hey, this is and Batman. Well, and Batman.
Yeah.
This is James Gunn's DC.
Well, now I'm like even more hyped for this because like how good is this? How good this is, and this is another thing where I trust James Gunn to be
incredible.
I trust James Gunn's thought process of movie making, just seeing all the super cool movies he's done or even movies he's produced, where it's like clearly he's like, hell yeah, brother, let's make this. It's gonna make us so much money because it's an obscure hero or villain in a sense, but a lot of people already know it. And so I'm all in. So there it is. So
yeah, it's got to be a banging script because James Gunn wasn't even thinking about it, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh, I guess we're doing a Clayface movie. So it's got to be good.
Now this would be interesting what if they decide like they let's say they cast a Batman, which they've put Batman into Creature Commandos, which I haven't caught up with that, but I've seen all the still images. So like we know Batman is in the universe, right? So what if they cast a Batman and Batman's like in the movie, but it's not Batman's movie? That would be really weird.
That would be interesting. Yeah.
What if they do this route as Hulk is in everything but not his own movie? That's what Batman is. Batman's in most of the movies, but he's not going to get a solo movie.
A rogues gallery and it's just Batman's in it.
Yeah.
That might be kind of interesting, right? See a movie about Batman from the villain's perspective would be interesting.
Well, I mean, they're already going down that road with the Penguin. Yeah. Well, I guess the Penguin's different universe. Never mind. Yeah.
Well, unless they make that the universe, which they could
I believe there was some rumors on that because before you jump into this, there was someone that asked the director of the director of the Batman, if that would come to James Gunn, and apparently he was like, we just got to make sure it makes sense.
Right.
So there's chance of that still happening, I think.
Because I'm all in on Robert Pattinson's Batman. I want more of that. And I think that would be great where it's like, hey, we're going to tell more straight up Batman stories like every few years with Batman. But we're going to make all these hero movies and we'll see if Robert Pattinson can fill in some of these roles when he's there.
Sure.
Okay, so let's transition a little bit into the Batman. So we already kind of teased it a little bit, but it has been announced by James Gunn that the Batman Part 2 is going to be pushed to 2027. It was scheduled to come out in 2026. Matt Reeves does not have a script prepared for it. So we're talking about script writing with Clayface. Like you said, Robbie, James Gunn isn't going to greenlight a movie until
that's what he said.
A script. Yeah, that's what James Gunn said.
He said that's his number one rule.
And he's the guy in charge. So that's another thing that is
exactly.
He calls all the shots now.
Yeah.
So literally like straight up on social media, James Gunn was like, Matt Reeves doesn't have a script ready and he wants to take time with it. So we're pushing it back to 2027. Is this worrying for you guys? Because the Batman was a fantastic movie. The Penguin was an incredible series that we reviewed on our podcast. We'll put links in the show notes. What do you guys think about this?
I think Robert Pattinson will be as old or older than Ben Affleck was when he was cast as Batman if they push it to 2027.
Wow.
So there it is.
I think,
and we're supposed to have a young Batman there. I'm sorry, year 2. I'm sorry. So it's like, so if they make it make sense, do you do a jump? Where he's
older? But how tall is Robert Pattinson though?
He's like, it doesn't matter. It's Robert Pattinson.
It doesn't matter. Sorry, matter, go ahead.
I just kept saying I think, and Mark just kept talking over me.
Here we are.
I think what James Gunn is doing is smart because what I assume is James Gunn probably saw how it was going at the MCU. Probably saw how fast they were green lighting things, like left and right. Everything was getting greenlit pretty much for a good 5 years there. And I think James Gunn saw that and saw the issues and the damage it does. So I think he probably wants scripts that, one, are really, really good, but two, also make sense for the combined shared universe, right? Because he wants us to be a combined shared universe. So I think that in my brain tells me that's what James Gunn is doing here, because he saw what, like, pushing a lot of content can be good, but obviously people, there starts to be a drop off like we got with the MCU, and now we're kind of like, whatever, MCU. So maybe DC is like, no, we're going to extend this, make this work for a long time, but you're not going to get 4 or 5 movies a year like we got with the MCU for, I don't know, what was that run from 2014 to 2018, 2019? We were getting like 4 or 5 movies a year almost.
Yeah.
Right.
So maybe that's what, maybe that's what James Gunn's view of this is, and his, he's the guy calling the shots at DC now. So he saw what they did and it worked for a little bit, but maybe he just wants more extended role. I don't know.
So wheeling back to the Clayface thing. So, I mean, we all kind of can tell that this Matt Reeves Batman universe is a little bit more grounded. I mean, we got the Penguin miniseries where he's a mob boss, which, he kind of like is a little bit in the comics, but he's definitely more like animated. He literally has like a penguin suit and a waddle, like in the comics. They play things pretty realistic. So how would a Clayface translate to the Batman universe if that's what they decided to do?
And so, like, your question is, are we in the Robert Pattinson's Batman universe if it's separate?
Yeah. So if we're saying the Clayface is in the Batman universe,
then you would have, like, it'd be tough. So it'd be someone that's like really good at prosthetic makeup, and like that's how you do Clayface. Or you finally introduce, like, hey, there's some little wackiness and, superhuman element to it where
that's where the issue of having Creature Commandos comes in, because we've already seen what Clayface looks like when in clay form.
Right.
And he's just like, obviously he can take the shape of anyone, which is kind of the whole thing with him. Like we saw, he's very comfortable being just Clayface, because when he's alone, as he thought, he's just chilling on the couch and is like as Clayface. So they'll just definitely something they have to address. I mean, it looks like a classical Clayface. I don't know if have you seen it, Mark? The episode of Creature Commando?
No, I'm only 3 episodes in, so
it's like a skinny version of,
right. It's not the real
Batman
big
animated
beefy
series
version, right? Yeah.
Do you guys watch the Harley cartoon?
I never did.
No. I know Alan Tudyk's also the voice of Clayface, I think, in that as well.
I never watched it.
It was a good show.
That was one of those that Max for some reason watched, but a lot of us didn't.
I'm surprised neither of you have watched it. It's another.
I've heard good things about it, but I just haven't gotten around to watching it.
I'm just not
King
a
Shark
big
takes
Harley
it away.
Quinn fan. I like King Shark.
He's in a lot of episodes. You'd love it.
Not a big fan of Harley Quinn. I don't.
Dieter Bader plays Batman, or voices him again, because he voiced him Brave and Bold. So it's fun stuff. Recommend it.
So yeah, those are the big things that I had for DC news.
Robert Pattinson's 6'1", by the way.
6'1". Thank you.
Same height as Henry Cavill.
So yeah, if you want to hear more about actors and their heights, go check out the Infinity Bros Patreon of this episode. Exclusive access to some behind the scenes Infinity Bros stuff. All right, guys. Last thing. Well, I shouldn't say the last thing. We got 2 more things to talk about. We've mentioned it a little bit on this podcast, but we are going to dive into Creature Commandos a little bit. I just watched the finale today. I didn't even know that it was the finale today, honestly. 7 episodes. It's kind of a weird amount of episodes.
It's the world we live in. 7,
yeah.
9, 8.
Can't just get a nice round number.
6.
Yeah, right?
10,
come on,
7.
man.
11.
So we got 7, and the finale was today on January 9th. And we're going to dive into a little bit. These guys have not seen the whole series, but we're still going to give a spoiler warning for anybody who has not dove into Creature Commandos.
This is...
Prepare yourself.
An Infinity Bros.
Prepare yourself.
Spoiler. Warning.
All right, guys. So, Mark, you said you'd watched 3. Robbie, you're at, what, 4 or 5? Something like that?
I think 5.
Okay, so you only have a couple left, and they're pretty short episodes, so you can catch up pretty quickly. Probably tonight after this, or we can jump on Marvel Rivals, which we haven't even talked about yet.
Probably play Marvel Rivals.
Marvel Rivals is the reason we have not podcasted for over a month. So just saying, just getting that out.
And
there.
like Christmas and New Year's, and
a lot of things.
No, Marvel Rivals.
There's been some things going on.
No.
And we've just filled it with Marvel. We filled all the empty holes with Marvel.
I literally had like 3 different podcasting sessions scheduled with Robbie and Zane, and every single time I just played Marvel Rivals with them instead.
We all were like, we could, or
Creature Commandos, animated show that kicked off James Gunn's DCU, which is just kind of an interesting choice, but at the same time,
bold choice, Con.
All of the characters that are voiced here are, potentially going into live action. They haven't announced plans for any of them except for Frank Grillo playing Rick Flag Sr., who he's already in the Superman movie, and potentially Alan Tudyk as Clayface. So yeah, it's just interesting choices, but this show honestly knocked my socks off in a way that like I did not expect the show to be as emotional as it was. I was just thinking this is another irreverent like James Gunn comedy type thing, which it is very much so.
Yes. It is very James Gunn.
It's very James Gunn. Like if you watch this, you could be like, oh yeah, James Gunn definitely wrote and directed all this stuff. But what were you guys' first impressions of the first couple episodes you've watched? What do you think of the show so far?
I went in not knowing how adult it was. So I was
caught
off guard initially. I was like, "Oh, we're gonna do this. There's gonna be some of this," and then I think it's episode 2 with I'm blanking on her name, the Frankenstein lady,
the bride.
There you go. Thank you. And I saw that episode. I'm like, "Oh, okay." So we're just a different angle on something. And it's hentai is where we're at. That's how I felt about the show. Where it's basically. Like, wow, we're going all in, basically. Just minus a few things.
I will say, continuing on that, there are a lot of sexual situations in the show that just don't seem like they need to be there.
Right.
I think that's James Gunn cutting loose.
That's James Gunn. Yeah.
I feel like if James Gunn he would do more of that in the movies. I mean, it's very much a Suicide Squad meets animation.
And it's different than, which I think then makes it a little bit better. Like, you're not going to get something similar to this now. We might later, after other companies see this, like, okay, this is what people want. This is successful. Let's make content like this. But overall, I think the show, I think you hit it right. Like, there's the GI... what's his name? I'm blanking.
GI Robot.
I was going to call him GI Bro. I was like, that's not
just GI Robot.
GI Robot.
Is that the last episode you watched?
If that's episode 3, then yes.
Have you watched his episode?
Yeah, that's the episode I watched last.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. And that I was going to say, that made me emotional. I was like, why am I almost, I mean, granted, I think I probably would have still gotten emotional without certain things have happened in the last month and a half. But like, I was like, holy crap, James Gunn, you got me with a robot and a fish lady. Thanks a lot.
A robot that all he wanted to do was kill Nazis.
Yeah, the dream of all of us.
He just
have you checked everyone in this room? For what reason? To check if they're Nazis?
Or okay, so I got to go into that episode a little bit. So the guy that ends up collecting them, how did he not know that GI Robot was built to kill Nazis?
I know. I was so confused with that too. I was like, that guy's an idiot.
Yeah.
But that guy took the Nazi killing robot to a
Nazi rally.
Nazi rally and didn't expect that to happen.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe awesome. There's just this legend. Maybe he didn't realize that he was a robot that literally was currently actively trying to kill Nazis with any moment chance.
He mentioned it. It's not like it was a
secret. Right. But it's like, fun. And then all of a sudden it's not fun anymore. Yeah.
I just love how like it's Sean Gunn's, it's James Gunn's brother's voice, and how like almost like caring and loving it is. But it's just like, but he's very serious. If you're a Nazi, or if he thinks you're a Nazi, or if anyone tells him that you're a Nazi, he's going to kill you.
The structure of this show is just kind of fascinating. They take each episode to dive into a member and their like backstory, and it continues on for you guys that like episode 7 is Nina's like the fish lady's like kind of origin story or whatever.
I feel like Nina seems like she's kind of the heart of the series, is what it's felt like so far.
Yes, and I will not talk anymore about
I don't
want to spoil you guys on what happens.
Was one of the episodes about Dr. Phosphorus? Was he?
Yes, and it's a fantastic episode.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Love that guy. Yeah, he voices Dr. Phosphorus.
Dr. Phosphorus, not Clayface. Sorry.
No, he does Clayface as well.
He voices 3 people.
He does both.
Oh. Well, he does a third. He does.
They initially did not announce that Alan Tudyk was voicing Clayface, and then in like an interview, like during the premiere launch, they like talked about it, and he's like, "Oh yeah, and I also do Clayface in this show," and everybody's like, "What? Clayface is in it." Yeah, he's great. But that episode is fantastic. Honestly, all of them are fantastic episodes. I will say by like the second or third one, I was like, are every single one of these going to make this a like sympathetic villain storyline? And
that's James Gunn's thing, man.
It is James Gunn's thing, but I feel like you do that 7 times and it's gonna get a little
it's gonna get a little old. GI Robot's not a villain.
Yeah, he killed Nazis. What do you like?
This isn't a true like Suicide Squad necessarily. Like they're not all bad guys necessarily.
And like Weasel is like a weird dog thing who wasn't a bad
product of what happened on.
Well, sure. I mean that's the backstory of all of them though, is that they're a product of like whatever happened to them, and that's kind of what they dive into is like, oh, this terrible thing happened.
Except for really the bride. The bride didn't have to become a bad person, but whatever.
No, she didn't have to.
She kind of. I don't know. She didn't have to, but maybe.
But she did.
Maybe. But the real villain is Amanda Waller. I mean, let's get real.
Amanda Waller's always the villain.
And I love that they brought back Viola Davis.
Yeah, she does a great job.
There's nobody else that can play Amanda Waller. No. She's
out of all the Suicide movies,
Amanda Waller.
One 6 out of 6 every time. So
yeah, if you talk about universes beyond or just DCU, like Amanda Waller is like she's the anchor being for the DCs. Like, she's always Viola Davis is always going to be Amanda Waller.
She's great. Yeah, and she plays another. I mean, like in the early series, obviously she's the one putting together the team. When they're like kind of the middle of the show, it's kind of just them doing their thing, and then she comes back in like episode 6, 7, and has a little bit of a part.
Spoiler.
But yeah, she is fantastic. Like you guys said, she is the anchor being of that. Whatever DC is doing, she should be there. Hopefully she will continue to be there. But yeah, I mean, every episode's great. The one that I specifically started to get on that track was like, are all these going to be sympathetic villains? Was the Weasel one. Did you guys watch that one? And Robbie, maybe you got to that one. So like, it's not bad. It's not, it's a good episode. It's again, emotional. It's an emotional episode,
right?
But like they hammered home in the old Suicide Squad movie as well, that he ate 27 children. Like
but that's not canon.
And that's not, well, yes, technically it's not canon,
Suicide
but they
Squad
use the same number this time too. So
but the Suicide Squad isn't canon.
Wait, the Suicide Squad or Suicide Squad?
Suicide. Whatever one has Peacemaker in it.
That one's not canon?
No.
Oh, okay.
Peacemaker is.
Is Blue Beetle canon?
And Rick Flag Jr. is technically canon, and what happened to him, because they talk about it.
Yeah.
So maybe it is canon.
You know what? I don't know.
So anyways,
the
fact that they're turning this Rat Weasel thing into a sympathetic story, that was where I was like, oh, okay, so we're just going to do this for all of these characters then. Which
I don't have a problem with that, but apparently
I like the character background. I get what you're saying. I'm kind of over the whole like making
heroes out of villains
or villains like kind of like sympathetic.
Why it's just they're a villain is.
And granted, we haven't got I'm going to go totally off topic, but the Skeleton Crew, I've loved that they've kept him. I'm blanking on the guy's name.
Jude Law.
Jude Law's character, the villain, the whole time. Like, there's not 1 ounce of like, is he a good guy?
Oh yeah.
I mean, there's a little bit. I should take it back. I'm going to backstep. There's a little bit when he has some interaction with the kids in the beginning, but like, no, that dude's bad.
So slow it down. We didn't spoiler approve.
But yeah, I'm very like I get what you're saying, Isaac. But I think given these type of characters, you kind of got to give them a background because they're a little obscure villains.
And I think overall it worked out. So like I'm not knocking, like saying that was a horrible way to do things. I think it was, but it kind of fell into the trope a little bit for me. Not to the point where I think it was a bad show. But yeah, it was really great. Emotional almost every single episode with those backstories. Like it just keeps going. And the final episode is no different. It's great. Very emotional ending and a twist ending too that I was not expecting.
Does it leave it up for a season 2 as well?
Yes. I mean, I feel like
that, yes.
I feel like you could almost make a season 2 with any type of story with
Amanda Waller couldn't find replacements. We're good.
Yeah, we'll just keep doing that.
I don't want to spoil everything, but yes, it is definitely up for a season 2. It didn't like say, "Oh yes, we're doing a season 2" type of ending.
I'm sorry to inform you, Mark,
like
all the people
it was
die.
very.
Amanda Waller blows up all their heads. You know.
No, it was a great finale, and honestly, the finale kind of raised up the series for me a little bit because I was sitting at a 5 maybe for the whole series. I think I definitely would give the whole series a 5.5 after the finale. It's just solid. It's a great opening series. I think the irreverency that is expected from James Gunn is what knocks it down just a notch for me. It's like, okay, like it's funny. It's funny. It's just not like, my exact type of humor. So that's what comes out to me. For what did you guys rate Creature Commandos, or what you've seen of it so far?
So far each episode for me has been good solid 6s. Been pleasantly surprised and entertained.
I'm with Mark. I've been very entertained. Kind of like you said, Isaac, a surprise.
Yeah.
Did not expect it to be as good as it has been. So yeah, we'll throw a 6 out there just for fun. Why not?
Good for you guys.
Numbers don't matter.
Proud of you.
Yeah. They're made up and they're for free.
Yeah, we can do whatever we want.
Just giving out 6s like candy.
Well, we have for years.
Yeah, that's true. We always have.
We're
going to give out 6s to bad movies, bad shows because we love them.
Hey, so I gave Morbius 3 out of 6.
It's about us.
I'm so proud of you, Mark. Honestly, I'm shocked that Morbius got a 3 out of 6 out of you because
it was a fun movie. See, this is where I could argue with Max about this. Morbius. Going to a movie in a theater is a little different experience than at home. At home, we'll probably get lower ratings. It has to be, I think, a show or movie has to be so much better to get a 6 when I'm watching at home, versus at a movie theater. And that experience,
yeah,
it's easier to be, it's a popcorn movie at the end of the day. I still haven't watched Madam Web, so I'll let you know.
The movie theater is the whole reason why the DCU was like still had a hold of me,
right?
Because the movie experience for those movies is good because they're very big, very showing. Like,
question for you, Robbie. So Batman versus Superman was the first movie that I went to that I was like, oh, the DCEU is bad. Like, this is not a good movie.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did it have that same effect on you? Like, was that a turning point for you?
There was a lot of parts that I was so hyped for that. So it was very hard for me to I had to rewatch it again. Like the hype that I had for that movie was crazy. But I went to that movie alone, by the way. So I was in Iowa at the time. And I don't want to talk about it.
So my experience with that movie is I went to it, I believe, with 2 mutual friends, Robert and Elliot, and
friend of the shows.
Yeah, friends of the shows. They're hardcore listeners. They listen all the time. They never miss an episode.
Yeah, they'll message us. I can't believe you guys talked about us on the podcast.
And I also went to them, I think, to the Justice League movie too. And Batman vs. Superman, I wouldn't say I felt like this sucked, but the Justice League movie made me feel like, oh yeah, I think the DC universe is just gonna die right here. But again, Batman vs. Superman kind of started that flame.
The thing that Zack Snyder was very good at was just giving you scenes, right?
Right.
Yeah.
There's scenes here and there. You're just like, gosh, I can almost see the vision for how good this could be. And then there's the rest of the movie.
And what Batman vs. Superman, what they really shot themselves in the foot about, is they showed us who the villain was in the trailer. So, like, what was the point of going to the movie after seeing that revealed?
I will push back on that because everyone's like, "Oh, they showed us the villain." We see the villain in every movie, in every trailer. Like, don't we? What other movie have we not known who the villain
Well,
is?
that's just a testament to what trailers have become. Like trailers have just now they just show the plot of the movie.
But that wasn't the first one. Marvel was doing that forever before then. Like that's the thing. I was like, okay, it was stupid because that was like a surprise thing that we didn't know anything about. We didn't need to know anything about because it's not like an actor that was casted as that. So it was like he could have kept that a surprise. Yes, I get that. But we know the villain for every movie. Like that's coming out. We know who the villain is.
We
Lex
deal? Luthor was going to be the villain. We didn't need the. I just don't think we needed the reveal of Abomination or not Abomination. Doomsday. Like I just don't think it was
the worst looking Doomsday today.
Yeah, he looked like an orc from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. Superman and Lois had a better Doomsday than this.
Well, even Smallville did.
The CW and the Smallville had a better freaking Doomsday than that crap.
Right.
Like and that sure, but whatever. I don't get the whole getting mad that we saw who the villain was. Like we get to see the villain and everything. I don't know. I've been wanting to get that off.
That's the hill that Robbie's placing his flag on.
However,
I did like the movie, but it's not. That's not the reason why it sucks.
It's not the reason why it sucked. There's lots of reasons why it sucked. That was not. I mean, how Doomsday
Martha.
Looked, yes,
my mom said Martha.
Looked, yes, a coincidence. I will say, and this is something that I've grown now to hate from Zack Snyder, is that I did like the Snyder cut of Justice League much better. Still doesn't make the whole universe better. But the Snyder cut is better.
But like, I mean, if you're a director that can't whittle down your movies past 4 hours, that's just
even the freaking the Rebel Moon that he does like for him on Netflix. He had to make a director's cut of that. Like we're told like they weren't hamstringing you at all. You hamstrung yourself. Like I think Zack Snyder just can't make a short movie. He just if you gave him an impossible challenge, it would be make a movie under 2 hours and 10 minutes, and he couldn't do it.
And I'm all in for that though. Give me the long movie. I mean, Quentin Tarantino does that, so it's like
I don't mind long movies, but when you have to get an extended cut to make your crappy movie average, like it's not good, man.
Okay. If I was with you right now, Robbie, I'd give you a hug because I think you need one right now.
I need a just talking about the DCU now. How much it hurt me. I can't even enjoy Superman trailers anymore. I can't even give Superman trailers 6s.
Yeah,
I don't trust Superman. I've lost my hope. That's where we're at.
Well, maybe Superman will find you new hope,
and maybe the DCU, James Gunn's DCU, will give you new hope, which we're going to talk about here in a little bit. We already talked about some castings for the future of the DCU. But a few weeks ago, Mark posted this picture in our Infinity Bros group chat, and it was of the Justice League of America, like 90s, 2000s animated show, and it had all of the Justice League and the fan casting so far, or not the real casting so far of the characters in the Justice League. So we've got Aaron Pierre as John Stewart, Green Lantern, David Cornsweet as Superman, and then Isabella Merced's Hawkgirl. So then we've got a couple empty spots here. We've got Martian Manhunter, we've got Wonder Woman, Batman, and The Flash that Mark thought it would be fun to do some fan casting.
And along with, we're also doing 2 randos, whether it be villains or heroes, that we also fan cast. I
only got 1 rando. I need to add another one.
Yeah. We got 6.
I'm ready, but I missed
4 characters plus 2 would be 6. Because we're 6, we're 6s guys. We're not 5s or 10s.
Oh yeah, we got to do 6. Yeah, that's how we do things here, the Infinity Bros podcast. So you guys probably have way more solid lists than mine. So I'm gonna let you go first.
I'm gonna go with my banger right off the top. It's not one of the heroes, but it's too good to let go. So this is my character. This is who I'm gonna cast in James Gunn's universe, and he's gonna play 2 characters. But you don't understand why.
You're doing all of them?
Is that what we want to do? Do you want me to just go down the list?
Are we doing all of them, or are we just going to go one at a time?
Yeah, let's go.
Whatever
I'll do all of them, so then you guys can absorb and we can talk. So my first one, not in any specific order, just doing 6 this time, is we're going to cast Nicolas Cage, as Jor-El, the father of Superman, and he will also be Bizarro.
Ooh.
So some way in this universe, whoever creates Bizarro or however Bizarro becomes to be, gets Jor-El's DNA somehow. So Jor-El, so like that would be the thing where Bizarro's created and he looks just like Jor-El and slowly becomes what Bizarro is.
No, I think Nicolas Cage is a pretty crappy actor. I don't really want Adam.
Guess.
All right, well, I'll take him off the list.
How dare you, sir?
There's my other. That's one, and I'll go with my other rando. I have Darkseid in here, and I have Michael C. Hall as Darkseid, and Michael C. Hall plays Dexter. If anyone needs a little help on that,
Sure.
I think he could give us a really good menacing Darkseid.
Yeah,
is my thought. So there's that. I'll go with my Flash pick. I have, and this might become more of a Wally West, just because of reasons of how the characters, but I'd still be fine with a regular Flash. Justice Smith as the Flash. And he's the guy in Detective Pikachu.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah, he's
so a younger guy.
What's his face in the Dungeons and Dragons movie, too.
Right, he's also in that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
My Martian Manhunter would be Sterling K. Brown. You guys know who Sterling K. Brown? You've probably seen movies he's been in.
Yeah.
Probably.
And then Wonder Woman, I have two. My first pick was kind of more on. I believe I know she's tall, and I also know she's in two Guardians of the Galaxy movies, which James Gunn is definitely be poaching actors and actresses from. This is Elizabeth Debicki, who plays the Gold Lady. I think her name's like Aisha or something like that. Aisha.
Yeah.
Like I think she could be good, but my other one was a random pick. And I used a wrestler, and the wrestler's name is Raquel Rodriguez, but her real name is Victoria Gonzalez. And I think that would be kind of a good casting because she's taller, and then you could go with the whole, more athletic build type of Wonder Woman, and not have to jack up her shoes because I think she's again going back to height 6'1", so that could help out casting wise. And then my Batman is who I think should be cast as Batman if they don't go Robert Pattinson, is Alan Ritchson. That's who Batman should be.
We have one similar.
Yeah.
There we go. It's got to be Alan. It's got to be.
People go with the supernatural guy who's also in The Boys.
Jensen Ackles.
Yeah, so people go with him, and I know he voices Batman. I think he would be a great Batman. He'd be my number 3. But I go with Alan Ritchson. I think he's build, face, and how intense he can get, and him being a little bit younger, I think it'd be great.
The little cameo of Batman in Creature Commandos,
he's a thick
Batman.
big boy.
Like, are we talking
like
the Dark Knight Rises big, or not Dark Knight?
Like
the Dark Knight
not quite as thick, but
this guy, if he gets 20 years older, he's gonna be that thick.
Probably for sure,
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a bigger looking Batman. So I think Alan Ritchson fits that to a T.
All right, so that's my list.
I like it. I don't know half of those names, but I like it. A lot of my names are probably more well known, so we don't need to go over Alan. I also casted him as Batman, but I then went and casted a Dick Grayson.
Oh,
he could be Nightwing, depending on how far along we want to be. Does anyone know of the actor named Timothy Chalamet?
Never heard
Chalamet.
Timothy Chalamet.
Is he French?
He might be. He was Willy Wonka. He's in Willy Wonka. He's the kid in Dune.
Gene Wilder was
Bob
dead.
Dylan?
And Dune Part 2.
Oh.
But yeah.
Wait, came back?
Yeah. He's actually 5'10", surprisingly, but he's just skinnier.
Too tall.
But I feel like that skinny athletic build for a Nightwing, I think would be pretty sweet. He's got the chin for it too. He's got the perfect chiseled chin.
Did you ever watch
a Nightwing
Titans show?
Yeah.
That guy did a good job. Who played Nightwing and Dick Grayson? I thought.
Yeah, he did okay, but he kind of looks like Timothée Chalamet.
Yeah.
Chalamet.
So Timothy Chalamet is like you're bringing in other people, or his fans to the product,
bringing in big timer.
Yeah,
like Timothy Chalamet is big time right now. But again, it's always weird, with those actors that are kind of popping off. Are they going to go do superhero movies? Who knows?
Right.
Depends. I think you have to get a few of them. You got to get a few of them, right?
Yep.
My Flash, or should I do my 2 extras first? my Aquaman, actually, it's my number 2, my Aquaman. And I've seen this posted before, but he doesn't seem like he's really done much lately. But the Sons of Anarchy, Charlie Hunnam.
Oh,
Hunnam.
Yeah.
He was also in Pacific Rim, Sons of Anarchy, all that good stuff. King
He's
Arthur.
done a lot of like those independent movies.
Yeah, he doesn't seem like he's done a lot of big things anymore. So it's like he'd kind of be a perfect Aquaman, kind of he's now kind of under the radar, but people would recognize who he is. He's blonde. He's got that Aquaman look to him. Like, I think he could be a solid Aquaman.
He was in in Rebel Moon. If you saw that.
He's in Rebel Moon.
Oh yeah.
We didn't talk about how we didn't talk about our new Lobo yet either.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot about that. Jason Momoa.
Jason Momoa, our ex Aquaman is now Lobo, which is who he should have been all along.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's pretty.
Does your Aquaman have both hands, or does one have a hook?
You know what? Let's give him a hook.
Give him a hook.
Hell yeah.
Give him a hook.
Hell yeah.
I feel bad for Charlie Hunnam if he's casted him. It's like, you're just never gonna have 2 hands. Yeah. Maybe let's have him get it cut off in a movie.
Right.
First time we see Aquaman, he gets his hand cut off. He gets the whole Star Wars bit. Okay, let's do Martian Manhunter was tough. This one's kind of a phone-in answer, but Idris Elba. I just want Idris Elba.
Yeah, you stole mine. I had Idris Elba.
Throwing that one in. Yeah. And then my Flash, because I'm sick of all the tiny, short, quirky D-bags we keep getting for Flashes. I want Glenn Powell.
Oh, wow.
I want Glenn Powell.
Glenn Powell.
The sex icon that is Glenn Powell. He's 6 foot. He's jacked. He seems like a nice guy, but he's got a little bit of a quick wit to him.
Too serious to be.
No.
Have you seen him in Twisters? He's great.
He's hilarious. He's great.
He's whimsical. He's fun. He's a good guy.
He's got too much of a brooding face to be the Flash.
He's got a perfect face. He can be serious, but he can be that jawline. He would look perfect in the costume, like, because you see those costumes of Flash where he's like jacked. I want that Flash. I want a jacked Flash.
You want a Jack Flash?
There you
go. Jack Flash. And what does that even mean?
I don't know. You said
whatever you want it to be.
You're the one that said you want a Jack Flash.
Who's Wonder Woman? Is it Sydney Sweeney? Is that what you're going to tell us next?
I'm not. No, I'm wrong, Robert. Wrong, Robert.
Oh, my bad.
I'm going to go with Katie O'Brien. She is in The Mandalorian. She is a comms officer. She's Elia Kane. She's also an Ant-Man in The Wasp. She's 5'7". She's got a bulkier build. She looks like she could kick some ass. So
and she was in CW's Black Lightning and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, she's been quite a few things. Nothing crazy. She was in Westworld.
Okay, I know.
One episode.
Okay. Now I know who you're talking about. I had to look her up.
Yeah, I think she fits the build. Okay. And if you look at her IMDb, she has like this where she's on like a red carpet and she's jacked.
Right.
Like she is jacked. So yeah, I think she can make it work. Oh, she has a whole movie where all she does is lift. Love Lies Bleeding. All right,
I guess
there you go.
Robbie will be watching that instead of playing Rivals tonight.
I will be watching that. Put that on my list. Where's this on HBO Max? Perfect.
Yes, quite.
Yes, quite. But no, yeah, Katie O'Brien would be my Wonder Woman.
All right, here we go. I had Idris Elba as Martian Manhunter 2. Dude, he would be great in any role that
he could do whatever. He can do anything, and I'd be happy.
Alan Richardson is a pretty good choice for Batman, but I did have another like alternate choice for Batman. So if we got a true Flashpoint movie at some point, Jeffrey Dean Morgan as like a Thomas Wayne Batman would be pretty sweet.
Which we could have gotten if Zack Snyder didn't F it up. But anyways,
we should have got.
Yeah, we could have. That would have been sweet. So that's like kind of my alternate. Alan Richardson though, great choice for Batman. Love that one.
Thank you.
Flash, Jack Quaid. I think he would be a good Flash. He's not like the jacked boys. He's not like the jacked Flash that you want. But
you're falling right into the trap.
Yep, sure did. Yep.
I don't like Jack Quaid is perfect as who he is in The Boys, but not like the newer seasons where he's kind of like trying to be this tough guy. Just
trying to be a tough guy. Yeah,
just being the little dweeb that gets his butt kicked.
No, he's a great actor though, and I think he would do really well as the Flash. For Wonder Woman, I would do Jamie Alexander, who played Lady Sif in the Thor movies.
All right.
She has been like fan casted for Wonder Woman for a long time, and I think she has even voiced that she would love to play Wonder Woman, but she just
looks like
the part.
Wonder Woman's mom.
Yeah, she probably is a little bit older now.
She's only 40, but just
40.
She has, I don't know. She has like the higher like jaw lines, but just make her almost look like she's older than she is.
Yeah, maybe. I think she'd do a good job.
Good, yeah.
And then let's see, who else did I have on here? I have to put Nicolas Cage on my list too. So
of course,
I would have him play. Dr. Fate, which Pierce Brosnan was a perfect Dr. Fate.
He was.
So you couldn't get a better casting than that.
One
but
good thing
we want to forget Black Adam as a movie. So unfortunately, we have to move on.
Now that you brought that up, I want him back in this DCU, and the actor who played Hawkman. That dude was fantastic.
Honestly, all of those, everyone else except for freaking Black Adam was fine in that movie.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I liked the JSA in that movie. It was good.
Yeah, they were fun. They were good.
Anyways, sorry to...
But Pierce quality that movie had.
Brosnan was such a perfect Dr. Fate. He was so stinking good. But Nicolas Cage would be amazing as well. So that's who I picked. That's it. That's my fan cast.
You didn't have another fan
Well,
cast?
the alternate Batman was my
my
second one.
Right.
Yeah. So that's what I got. I'm not high level DC minds like you guys. So I don't have a wealth of DC knowledge to pull from.
I just recalled where I was seeing someone else fan cast Glenn Powell as a superhero. It was Cyclops. People were fan casting.
Oh, he would be a perfect Cyclops.
He would be a perfect Cyclops.
Yeah.
He could be super arrogant and just annoying.
Maybe that's why when you said it, that's what was through my head. It's like, no, he'd be awful. But now I see what you're saying with the Flash, where you could get him. You could make the Flash with Glenn Powell playing him more of not necessarily the goofy, nerdy Flash like you don't like. Make him more of like a serious asshole Flash, where he's just like cocky and narcissist almost.
I like the cockiness.
That's why he might be a better Plastic Man then.
I like the quick wit. Wit. That's what I want.
You know what? Okay, here we go. What's his face?
What's his face? He's in that movie.
I
don't know.
He voices Sonic. What's his name? The guy from Parks and Rec.
Oh yeah.
No. The guy that voices Sonic.
No. Is that him?
It's in Parks and Rec.
I know who I can picture him. I just don't know his name.
I can't remember his name either. Isn't it like Schwartz? Schwartz. He would be a great Plastic Man. That would be a great one.
He would actually be a good Plastic Man. Right?
Yeah. Jason Schwartz. Why can I not think of his name?
Ben Schwartz.
Ben Schwartz. That's what it is. He would make a great Plastic Man. That'd be cool. I think he just had a clip recently that he was like, "Yeah, we'll play Plastic Man." That'd be awesome.
His buddy Tom in that movie would be a great Cyclops too. But in the Sonic movie,
his buddy Tom,
isn't the guy's name Tom in that?
Like the
human,
the human guy that plays the.
Isn't his name Tom? Am I wrong?
The other cop?
Who?
No, Sonic's buddy. That's what I'm talking about.
James Marsden.
Marsden?
Yeah, what's his name in the movie?
He was Cyclops in the first.
That was a joke. Like you guys just
he was already Cyclops.
I thought you were talking about Tom. Oh. The other guy. What's his face?
Okay, I want to thank
Knuckles' friend.
Here's my dark side for you. If we ever get dark side, Mark.
Right.
Sorry, Mark.
Nick Offerman.
That would be I've never seen him in a serious role.
It just has to be the voice, but
as what?
As
Darkseid. I said
that. I missed that.
Okay, so
sorry, my bad.
I now want to go down this road. So I feel like in this version of Darkseid, you don't have him have the likeness. Like he's just you have someone in a green costume.
It's just the voice,
right? Green costume. So whoever's acting with him is just acting with this faceless person, basically.
Yeah,
totally built to really look like Darkseid. And not look like Nick Offerman, but voiced by him.
You could have Nick Offerman's eyes, though. Nick Offerman has really good,
he's got good eyes.
Impactful eyes. He's got a good...
All right, I'm all in on that. Okay, now we're going to go do another fun cast right here. Who would Keanu Reeves play if we put him in the DCU? Who is he playing? Are we having him play a good guy?
I got one. The question.
Or a bad guy. The question.
James Gunn does like his bad guys. He might be a bad guy.
Hang on. This just reminded me of this. Aren't they doing a Constantine 2?
They're doing the authorities.
Yeah, but let's get away from what's already happened, right? Like, can we get away from that?
Yeah, but Keanu Reeves is so hot right now. You gotta keep making
So hot right now.
Could he come,
Yeah, the question, dude. He'd be a great question.
But then you have to cover his face. You don't
true.
cover his face. You don't cover Keanu Reeves'
He'd be
face.
Like, his voice is awesome though. Like, it would be perfect.
It is. But I mean, he was his face is covered in the Sonic movie.
Yeah.
Still knew he was Keanu.
Yeah, definitely.
Could Keanu play the Joker?
Willem Dafoe.
Yeah, that's if we're gonna get anyone to play the Joker, it should be
or
wonderful.
Bill Skarsgård.
Bill Skarsgård was one. I was gonna put him on the list.
Yeah. Now we're just
Keanu
getting into
Reeves
like the common ones.
Okay. If we really want to fan cast Sydney Sweeney, like it's Power Girl. That's who it is.
Shut up, or Robert will hear you.
That's the easiest casting of all time. All right, nailed it.
Got it.
Done.
All right, that about wraps it up, guys. Thank you for coming on to join me. If you guys have any questions or want to let us know about your rating of Creature Commandos, let us know on social media. You can go to theinfinitybros.com, send us an email at infinitybrospodcast@gmail.com. And if you want to throw some fan casts at us, see how horribly we botched it or how great we nailed it, let us know on social media. We'd love to hear from you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. First episode of 2025. Looking forward to many, many more. Robbie and Mark, thanks for joining me. It's been a fun episode.
It was great being here. Keanu Reeves is Deathstroke. That's my final answer.
Oh, that actually would be great.
Yep.
Good one.
All done.
Look at you doing stuff.
All right. Say goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
All right. Wherever you're listening, however you're listening, thank you so much for making us a part of your podcast experience. We love you 3000. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the Infinity Bros podcast. You can find the Infinity Bros on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Twitch, and YouTube at the Infinity Bros. You can also check out our website at theinfinitybros.com for links, reviews, and sweet merch. Feel free to send listener feedback via social media or email at infinitybrospodcast@gmail.com.